Hi guys, I'm Sharonda Isadora and welcome to Brazen Babe Reviews. And today we shall be doing a book recap on Fire and Ice by Janet Eckford. So let's get to it, shall Okay, so how you guys doing today? Like I said, this will be a recap on my latest read. This is part of my summer reading list for 2018. And again, the title of this book is Fire and Ice by Janet Eckford. This book was published in 2014 and I have the Kindle format. This is your cover, beautiful people. And as always, I shall put it somewhere in here so that you can see the cover throughout the recap. So this is a paranormal romance. There are other tropes going in it as well, but mainly a paranormal romance. Your main characters are Hadia Price and Wheeland Osborne or Osborne or however the heck, but it was Wheeland Osborne are your two main characters. So just to give you a little gist of the story, like I said, this is a paranormal romance. Hadia and Wheeland are already married together, but when we go into the story, they are separated. So you have this whole, as far as the plot of the story, what's going on with it. It's a paranormal romance because you do have Hadia and Wheeland as a separated couple, and throughout the story, they are trying to get back together, and then eventually come together. But your plot behind the story, besides this couple deciding if they want to be together again, is Hadia's father, who is another character in the story, and he's kind of like the main contention or the issue as to why Wheeland and Hadia have their problems. Hadia and Wheeland and her father are others. They're not vampires, but they were more described as diviners. It wasn't really given how much power either character had, but they all were powerful in their own right. Mainly Hadia's father being more powerful than all of them, but once you got towards the end of the book, we kind of found out that Hadia was just as powerful as her father. And we also have another character in the story. Her name was Judith. She was like the 6-year-old character in the story, and she is another character that kind of like brings Wheeland and Hadia back together. Judith's character was kind of like used as this pawn by her father to kind of manipulate Hadia and Wheeland, which her father ended up doing. And like at the end of the book, some really heavy things went down. It was kind of like a sad ending, but you know, it kind of led to something beautiful as well. But it was a sad ending in the story. So basically what you have is when you go inside of the story, Hadia has decided, like I said, Hadia and Wheeland are separated. And that is mainly because of her father. Hadia realized a long time ago that her father was kind of like this manipulating type of a person. He really only used people to amass the power that he has had. And by the way, Wheeland, Hadia and her father has been on this earth for a very, very long time. They just, of course, look very, very young, like the characters on the cover. But they are very old characters. Where was I? So, like I said, when we go inside of the story, Wheeland and Hadia are already separated, but Hadia gets drawn back in because her father is kind of like accused of murdering like this whole kind of like coven, this vampire coven, and the main the head vampire in charge now, that vampire and Willen's and Hadia's father had always had some type of like, you know, friction going on between them. So when this vampire coven is taken out, Hadia's father is automatically accused. So Hadia gets pulled back into her father's bullshit because she has to be the one to find out if her father really did what they are accusing him of, because people are afraid of Hadia's father because, one, they don't know. They know he's powerful, but they don't know how powerful he is, and no one knows exactly what his power is. That includes Hadia and Wieland. And the issue with Wieland and Hadia's marriage is the father himself. Hadia wants a normal life. She doesn't want to be her father's kind of like muscle or killer anymore. With her being added on to her father and her having the power that she had, her father was kind of like this formidable type of a person. No one pretty much wanted to fuck with him. And Hadia didn't want to be part of that anymore, so she left. Her and Wieland was separated because Wieland decided to stay with the father. And the issue between Wieland and Hadia was like, when I left, you should have left with me. Why are you still with him? But as Wieland was saying in the story, like, listen, your father gave me this power. Like, yes, I love you and I want to be with you, but your father gave me this power. Not only did he give me this power, he has power over me. So there was one description in the book where he said that you had, you know, when your head is in the lion's claw mouth, you have to pull it out slowly, and that's what Wieland was doing. So he couldn't be like Hadia and just up and leave the father. He had to take his time and leave. He just couldn't up and leave. And Hadia just didn't understand that. So this is where Hadia's and Wieland's friction came in. So again, like I said, she's pulled back in because Wieland comes to get her because, you know, her father's in this trouble. And Hadia, because people do the type of power that she had this power where I guess she can like manipulate people's like feelings and shit like that and use it towards them. Wieland's power was more the muscle, but a powerful muscle. You know what I mean? So, and then, like I said, you have this other character who is Judith in the story. So, when Hadia comes back in while she's trying to find out if her father really committed this deed that that the vampires are accusing him of, you know, she also gets to make the decision, or rather her and Wieland are going to be together again and permanently, not just him, you know, or him or her coming back into their lives, you know, fucking frustrations off each other. And Wieland also made that decision, like, you know, it was either we're going to be together or we're not. Like, we can't keep doing this back and forth, you know what I mean? So they both had to make that decision. And they also had to decide, like, with this little girl that her father so-called found, you know, they also decided that they had to bring Judith with them. But there is a kind of like twist with Judith that Wieland and Hadia didn't know about. Throughout the story, you could see them getting close to this little girl, and when they did decide that they were going to be together and leave the father altogether, once all this bullshit was solved, you know, they were going to take Judith with them. But there's kind of like this twist to Judith that Wieland and Hadia didn't know about, and like I said, that leads up to a crazy ending and a very sad ending for our characters in the story. So for the most part, I did enjoy the book. I thought it had a great kind of like paranormal aspect to it. I like the storytelling, I like the world building, and I like the build up of the characters, the growth and the reflection of the characters in these stories. Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot to complain about with the story. story. I really thought it was like this really interesting paranormal romance. It was really, really well done. I'm going to rate this one 3.5 stars on Goodreads for the most part, because I did enjoy it. I did, I had like some issues like here and there, but for the most part, it is a good read. It's done very tastefully and good. And the way that she kind of like builds this friction up between Wayland and Hadia, and the issues that Hadia has with her father that kind of like connects to Wayland and Judith's character. It was really, really well done, and it gave you kind of like this story with a whole lot of contention and friction built around this couple that had to make a decision at the end of the day, like, like, what are we going to do? Like, are we going to be together, or are we going to separate? And if we're going to be together, we have to leave this man behind, but what about this little girl? And this whole mystery of trying to figure out what the father did, if he did it, things like that. It was just a really, really well done. So again, 3.5 stars for Fire and Ice by Janet Eckford. I enjoyed the story. I thought it was great. And that's it for me, guys. Until the next one, later days. Bye.